All right. Welcome back to another great episode of Lancaster Connects. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it, but I think we're the only Lancaster anything. Lancaster, California, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. There's a Lancaster, Ohio.
They're all Lancasters.
That's right. I don't know what a land caster, like caster on a cart is, but we know what Lancaster is.
Yep.
And
so we're the only what? The only
podcast show serving their Lancaster community.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Very special.
Yeah. Because how do we serve the community? Highlight nonprofits, charitable organizations.
That's right.
Small businesses doing great things in the community.
That's right.
That's what the show's all about.
That's right. Put some shine on the community. Spotlight where it needs to be. Because Lord knows there's a spotlight where it ain't need to be.
That's true. That's
How's
very
that?
true. It's
where it ain't need to be.
It's
you're not here for grammar and proper English.
You're borderline Pennsylvania Dutch right there. Like it felt like you were almost going to that vein of communication.
That has some appropriateness for our guest.
That's true. That's true. Should we bring our guest on?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, let's say that we have contests, right? For comments.
Yes.
We'd like your comments during the show. So if you have a question for our guest, who we will introduce in a moment, ask them in the comment box, or just tell us, what you like about the show, or, comment on our hair. I don't know, whatever. Give us a comment. You can win a nice gift. We're always giving away. Yeah, you're pippity-poppity today. Looking good.
It's time for a haircut for me.
Looking good. I got Dad, you've got a lot of gray the other day. Julian and I went to get a haircut.
Well, there's been some email debate about we have to update the show
That's
card.
True.
Because it's a younger version of Ben and Jeff that you're seeing.
There's like no gray in those.
And then these guys come on and you're like, oh,
who are they?
Well, what happened? That's the joke. And no offense to any of our realtor friends, but that's the joke amongst realtors is that the photo image they're using is, from years gone by.
Right.
And then the realtor that shows up at your home could look like their grandma. So
it's not that bad.
Well, that's the joke. I didn't say the joke.
Well, you explained it.
I just explained the joke.
I got you.
Through the context that we do it too. So there we go.
There we go.
We all need to update our photos.
Yes. Well, whatever you'd like to comment, please do. Put it in the comment box in Facebook and YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching Lancaster Connects. We've got some great gifts to give away. Got some Less Nor More Cuddle drinkware. And also, Vanna here will bring a nice pillow and blanket combo bundle, on-the-go bundle it's called.
It's very nice.
Nice little travel package. Throw that in your luggage. Take it with you. Put it in your car.
Squeezes down pretty nice.
Yep. Free. Just for commenting. We'll spin the prize later at the end of the show. Whoever wins can have their choice of gift.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's bring on our guest because, obviously you know that her name is Mandy Richardson and you know that she's with Clare House, but you might be wondering what the comment was. How did I say it?
Something about Dutchy.
There ain't much about nothing or something like that.
How close was he, Mandy?
Sentence structure was pretty right on. Yeah, I think so.
So I brought that up because interestingly, we'll get to know you a little more, but you went to Kutztown and one of your degrees was in Pennsylvania German studies. Is that right?
It was, yes. I am. I'm one of two graduates of that program. It was offered as a minor, but with a few extra electives, you were able to turn it into a major at the time. So I did that. And then I spent the next 10 years co-running a Pennsylvania Dutch folklife museum. So it worked out.
Now, when you were going to that degree, did you have any sort of internship where you had to immerse yourself into the PA Dutch culture, live with somebody or anything like that?
No, I didn't have to live with somebody because I am that somebody. I did have an internship though at the Pennsylvania German Heritage Center. It's on the campus of Kutztown University, and that is then where I was employed for a long time.
That's very cool. It's very cool.
Very neat. Well, you're here as the executive director of Clare House.
Yep.
And before we get too much into that, so are you a Lancaster native?
I am not. I am from Berks County.
That's cool. I mean, we're from Berks County.
That north neighboring county.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we escape. Sometimes we stay there. That's cool.
We all get along. It's fine.
That's right. That's right. We actually get a lot of customers from Berks County.
We do.
Berks County's cool. Berks is cool. Mom and dad are listening in from Berks County.
Yep.
We allow that.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. My mom and dad are on. I have aunts and cousins who are listening in today from all over the states.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Welcome.
Fantastic. Well, tell them to say hello in the comments. That'll greatly help us out. It'll actually help the algorithm out of the show.
Yeah.
Gets the replay served to more people. So if you want to help your darling Mandy, whoever darling Mandy is to you, whether that's daughter, niece, whatever, there you go. That helps out. So yeah, thanks for joining us. So why don't you share a little bit with us about the overall mission of what Clare House does and who you serve?
Sure. So Clare House is a transitional housing program for women with children who are experiencing temporary homelessness. What we do is we house the families for anywhere from 3 months to however long they need to get back out into the community and get into housing. And we provide employment-focused services. So that's kind of what sets us apart from other organizations that are a little similar to our mission. We are focused on moms who are already out in the workforce. They need to maybe save up a little bit. They're leaving a bad situation, that sort of thing. We help them get back on their feet again.
Is Clare House a physical house, and that's where everybody is housed, or are there multiple locations?
Yes. So we are 2 houses on Chestnut Street in Lancaster, East Chestnut Street.
Okay.
And what's the story of how Clare House was founded?
Yeah.
I know you've been with Clare House since 2021 as executive director, but it's been around for a long time prior to that, right?
Yeah. So Clare House was founded in 1980. And originally it was actually part of a local Catholic diocese. In the 80s, people were kind of just starting to realize that we needed services that would help homeless persons. And they kind of realized that there were shelters for men and there were not really places for moms with kiddos to go that were a safe space for them. So they opened up Clare House on Southwest End Avenue in 1980. Eventually it moved over to Wheatland Avenue, I believe. And then in the 90s, we purchased the first property on East Chestnut and then the second one next door in, I think, 2000. So, yeah, been in the community a long time.
Yeah, that's very good. I mean, it's always nice to hear of organizations that have the longevity that you do, nearly 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that right?
Over
More
40.
Than 40, yeah.
Yeah, we were meant to have our 40.
Almost as old as you are, Jeff.
Time out on the conversation. It's like, it just hits me like to relate. Like you said 1980, and I'm thinking that's like 20 years ago.
Yes, I wish.
We're born in 80 or 79, right?
But just that whole spectrum and relevance of things.
Yeah, I know. You think back 20 years and you're like, you hear a date and you're like, that's not that long ago. Like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, you're at it's like you're at the convenience store and you see the cigarette sign. We can't sell you cigarettes if you were born. And you're seeing a date now of like 2000 and what?
Something.
2002.
Probably, yeah.
I'm sorry, but that was just like a visceral moment for me. I apologize. So 40 plus years in service.
Yep.
It's really great to see that longevity. What is it about what you do and what Clare House does that sustains that? Like, what's the program doing for people that allows it to stay around? And I guess most importantly, why is there a continued need?
Yeah. So I think what keeps it around is the fact that we don't just house people and then send them on their way. We have a fully fleshed out program. It has 4 steps in it. So they begin by establishing the foundation. So that's reliable childcare, secure better or improve their employment situation. Then they start to outline financial goals. Then we go into the second step, which is to establish community. They get hooked up with applications for affordable housing. We start connecting them out with community partners that can help once they do move out of Clare House and during. And then they take over doing their own budgeting and fully form that out. And then it kind of ends with them signing their lease and doing their exit paperwork. And then we stay in contact with them for another year afterwards. So they've always got us in their back pocket as that support system as we're needed.
That's I always love hearing the structure, and I guess I would suggest to anybody watching and eventually listening that we always talk about if you can donate to a charity that we highlight or any that you should, if you can. Some people don't have the financial means to do so. So then we talk about time and the time to help a charity or an organization in the community, donating your time. So I love that you shared the structure, because I think there's some smaller organizations out there that endeavor just to do good, but they don't have the success structure behind it. So if you have those skills, there's a great place to volunteer your time, maybe through an organization that really needs a little more enhanced structure for success. Because as you said, that's what keeps you around. That's what keeps people successful in offering the services that you do. So here's a question. You said you have a 4-part, 4 parts of success.
Yep.
And then you're that resource thereafter. What's the batting average for, like I'm a competitive guy, so I love hearing the number. What is that success number for people you get to exit? They get on their own. What's that look like?
Yeah. So, right now we're about 83% of the women
Fantastic.
that completely complete the program, like go through it from beginning to end, have been able to secure housing, and are, back out in, their own house in the community, for, at least a year.
That's fantastic. And the other group of people that don't quite reach that exit mark, what happens there?
So if they are perhaps not a fit for the program, we do refer them to another community service that might be able to help them a little bit better. We're not just in the business of putting people out. We want them to be helped. But if our program isn't for you, then it isn't for you. So we try to connect connect the moms with whatever services they do need.
Sure. Yeah. Anybody watching or listening can probably, come to their own conclusions about the services you provide. And maybe we'll talk more deeply about that next, like kind of the box you fit in. And then obviously if you don't touch on those things, that's the reason somebody else might go to a different program. But it's good to know obviously you have those connections, because that's the thing we've learned is all of our organizations are really connected to one another that we have on the show. There's that nice sense of community. Yeah,
that is one of the things about, as an outsider coming into Lancaster, it is amazing. All of the nonprofits work together. We're all a team. We're all trying to do the same things. And it's really great that we can all make good things happen for people.
Yeah, it's great. Can I put you on the spot?
All right.
Who's that? If you have more, and just because Mandy might name one doesn't mean she's excluding anybody else. What's your favorite other nonprofit in the area?
Oh, one that we work with, or my personal favorite?
Your choice. Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. I'm going to go with my personal favorite other nonprofit, which is Historic Pool Forge. And that is because I sit on their board and I love to volunteer there, and it's a great site.
Cool. It's and just real quick, what do they do? And could they be a guest on our show at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. They are a museum, mansion, and historic site. They have a gorgeous red covered bridge.
Cool.
There are also wildlife and nature preserves there. So it's just a beautiful site. They have wedding rentals and a picnic area, and yeah, it's just great.
That's cool. So back to Clare House, a couple questions. How big is the need in Lancaster City? Or actually, two parts of the question. Are you just focused in Lancaster City, or are you more community-wide as well, or county-wide? And then how big is the need, for being or housing mothers and young children? What does that look like?
Yeah, we get calls every single day. So we are focused on the county rather than just the city. But we get calls in every single day, people asking about our services. Right now we have a wait list, about 3 months waiting time. It kind of just depends on when the moms currently in our program go out into their own housing and how quick the turnaround can be to fill the new room. But yeah, it's overwhelming, the amount of people that we could be helping.
Yeah. And you help us understand and our listeners understand what are some of the situations that these people are in that then need your assistance. What does that look like?
Bulk of the clients that come to us have been either doubled up, which means they're living in somebody else's house, the house that's too full. They are living in their car, living in a hotel, and 15% of the women that come to us are leaving a domestic violence situation, and 50% of all of our clients have experienced some form of domestic abuse in their lifetime.
Well, and obviously a big part of the service you offer, I mean, you mentioned the path for mothers and the assistance that the mothers get, but kids, I mean, they're a big part of this because in a lot of cases they're in school and maybe not able to go to school all the time. And, now they're in a situation where, they don't have a home and now they need your services. What services do you provide for the children to maybe keep them in school and of course help them with their needs going forward?
Yeah. So one of the big things, and this is in the foundational step for the moms as well, is making sure the kiddos are enrolled in the school and that they do have some form of childcare happening through maybe ELRC to help them pay for that, so that the kids do have a place to go. They're learning. They have, they can make friends. It's a stable environment for them for that school year that they're with us.
What did you call that? ELRC?
ELRC. It's funding that is available to help with childcare.
Okay. Yep.
Very good. Very good. How many? So how has Clare House grown over the years, and how many families? How many families are you serving or have served throughout the years?
So we can serve 7 families at a time. So that looks like maybe 26 persons in the house, including the kids. We're kind of phasing our program. The program was 6 months, where they would live with us in-house. But the way that the housing market currently is, and the availability of new units, is a little difficult. So we have extended that so that people can stay with us longer. That does mean we can serve fewer families per year, but we know that we're not sending someone back out into homelessness when they do leave the program.
Right.
So at the 2 facilities that you have, do you have a full-time staff that's there and working with them, or what does that look like?
Yeah, we have 4 full-time people, including myself. We have a program director who is in charge of all of the programming. a house manager who makes sure chores are done and things around the house are going well. Taking in, donated items that we need, because we also supply items to the families. So like shampoo, conditioner, diapers, all those little things that add up. So instead of spending money on that, you can actually bank that in your savings account, so that you have a nice amount of money to live on when you leave the program. And then we have a case manager that works one-on-one with each client once a week. And she's we're all full-time.
Yeah. That's a lot of, I guess I would call that high touch, a lot of connectivity.
Yes.
So I would guess that has there always been like that amount of connectivity? Have you grown into that?
I think we've grown into it a little more in the past couple of years, but there has always been like a case manager with the weekly meetings. But now that person is full-time since we're at full capacity.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to see. I like hearing the house manager making sure the chores get done.
That is, yeah.
I like that one because I'm big on that with my children. Like we have a 19-year-old now, and a couple of weeks back, he was slipping on his responsibilities, as we call them. And so I had to remind him of, hey, you are living here, and yes, you're paying a little bit of rent, but let's do the math on all that exists in your world, and your responsibilities matter. So I liked hearing that. That's good. What kinds of things do you have? Do you know what kinds of things you have the kids doing to help around the house?
So it's mostly the moms that have the chores as housemates. So the kitchen tidy, clean up the bathroom, replace the TP when it runs out, that kind of thing. And it's really not a whole lot, but it saves us all of those man hours so we can focus more on direct work. Sometimes if the kids are old enough, mom gets them involved. Maybe they're running the dishwasher, or we had a group of kiddos last year that were old enough to mow the lawn. So they were mowing the lawn this summer. And it seemed like they were enjoying themselves. So, yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Good.
You mentioned that you taking in donations, or Clare House taking in donations, donated items. So what other ways can the community help Clare House? So, we talk, like Jeff talked about, volunteering opportunities, and, obviously being able to donate money is great. I'm sure you'll take funding when you can. But I'm sure there's plenty of other ways that the community can support Clare House. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So aside from donating money, donating things, we also put together like an apartment starter kit for the families when they are moving into their own place. So we provide like kitchen utensils and pots and pans and towels and all the kind of stuff that you would need if you were moving into, say, your first apartment. So things like that. We take used or new if they're in good condition. So other ways would be Monday nights. We do workshops. So this is where we have those life skills programs. Most recently, we've had like a series of financial workshops. Sometimes we have a wellness day, so yoga. We've had sewing workshops, conflict mediation workshops. And while those are happening, we provide babysitters for all the kiddos in the houses so mom can focus her energy on learning and just have a breather, a little time off from the kiddos. And we can always use babysitters to help us with that.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I'm sure that when you said you offer the childcare, I'm sure even though you're going to learn, I'm sure that mom likes having some time.
Yeah.
Having that breather.
Yep.
It's just good.
Yeah. Especially for our more fun workshops. It's just nice to just like unwind, do some crafts or whatever. And then go back to your daily routine.
Yeah. Well, the financial literacy component is so huge. I recently, not recently, I would say maybe within the last 2 years, learned that a lot of colleges, specifically Division I schools, give no credit on a high school transcript to any kind of financial course at all. In fact, they don't really teach it throughout college.
Mm-hmm.
And, as an aside, it's no wonder you hear of athletes who, a couple of years after their professional career ends, they're destitute, bankrupt, you name it. But financial literacy is so empowering today when you understand how credit works, how your credit score works, the value of having that number be advantageous for you. It doesn't need to be 850.
Right.
It doesn't need to be that. But, when you can move from a 575 to a 650, life is entirely
a lot
different.
easier. So we actually typically in a year in our program, our residents will improve their credit scores by about 19 points. So that's awesome. So our case manager and program director work with them to build, if they have some debt, they help them build a debt program where they pay things off the best way possible, and they coach them on that. And then, the financial literacy workshops are great. The vice president of our board, Sarah Popovich, has actually been running those, and she is a financial advisor. And so she just comes in and talks to the moms about, something as simple as opening a bank account, which sometimes people don't know how to do that. And it's essential if you are trying to raise your credit score to get into housing.
Yeah. I mean, just that in itself, our listeners might be shocked to hear. I believe this is the number. Maybe you could back it up. But I think I heard a number that there's 50 million people in our country that are underbanked, which means they don't have a bank account.
I did not know that, but I'm not shocked.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's billions of dollars paid by those same 50 million people in fees because they're having to use check cashing places.
Right.
Western Union and Venmo and Zelle have opened up opportunity for them to not pay those fees. However, now with what might be coming down the line with tax filing, it creates a new problem in that you have to say, well, this was for rent. This was to pay a bill. This was to pay my babysitter. We'll see where that settles, and we don't need to go the political realm. We're not going to do that, but it's just a reality, right? Like you fix one thing and that it may create a problem later.
Yep.
But you're 100% right. My mind's going, I have a couple credit repair friends, that are in that industry of helping people fix their credit. And, I'm wondering if I can't make a connection to those folks, to folks like you at Clare House. And scale some of their services for the people you give support to.
Yeah, that'd be great. Build a workshop out of it
they can move those credit needles on the old dashboard screen pretty quick. Because there's something, I didn't know this. If you have, so Mandy, is your first name Amanda? Okay. So in your credit file, if you have different accounts under Amanda and Mandy, that can actually hurt your credit.
I didn't know that, but good grief.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Jeff and Jeffrey.
Exactly.
Ben and Benjamin. Yep.
Exactly.
We almost all have something like that.
Yeah. So it can even go down to something as little as, I live something Avenue. So if it's Ave.
Versus
Ave dot Avenue. And credit is like algorithm. We don't need to spend too much time on this, but hopefully we're educating people that are listening or will listen and watch. But credit reporting is all algorithmic. So the more speed bumps there is within your file, the lower your score is going to be as an aggregate.
And just thinking about serving women, some of them are maybe going through a divorce. So now we have the name change. So that's something that adds into it as well.
Yeah.
And I could see if potentially a lot of the accounts for the couple were under his name and not her name, that creates, you're basically starting from scratch. Right. There's no credit there, no history.
Yeah, we do see that an awful lot. Yeah.
So we'll take a little pivot here in the moment. Let's talk football.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a good weekend.
It was a good weekend for if you
Eagles fans.
Yeah. But I want to talk football in a little different context this time around.
Yep.
So if you've been watching this show, you know I love Philadelphia Eagles football, and if you're an Eagles, it's life. And if you're an Eagles fan, that's great. And if you're not, that's great too. You love your team for the reasons you love your team. I felt compelled to share why I love my team, the Philadelphia Eagles, this week. So, for me, I moved here to the United States from Canada when I was 10. And that summer was a very difficult summer for me as a young man. Didn't make many friends. It was actually really, really, really rough, to the point of, really planning suicide. And that ended the day that, my friend that I made in the neighborhood at the time, the day that Mike came down the street in that Kelly Green Eagles jersey with number 12 on it, Randall Cunningham. Yep. And said if I want to throw football. And I was an Eagles fan forevermore from that day.
Powerful story.
Yeah. And so when I joke that football is life, it really is for me. And I've been a fan ever since. And that's that. So as much ribbing as I give to Cowboys fans, as much ribbing as, the Steelers fans give to the Ravens fans, whatever your fandom is or isn't, I would ask that you ask that person with a different jersey on to say why they love their team. And you might hear a real cool story about why they love their team. But that's why I love the Eagles.
That's cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, it was a really great weekend. So it was really great.
They took it to the Giants big time. And, the Bengals did the same to the Bills. The Bills just didn't look good. And, you think about the Bills at home in the snow, like home turf, like that's a game the Bills win.
Yep. And that's what makes football, I think, really unique is you have every week. You've got your win over win. And it's unique because all the other professional sports are series as you reach your championship.
That's true. That's true.
Football is
win or go home.
Win or go home every week. So
anyway, you're playing for another day or you're golfing.
That's right.
All right. So often we give love to a member of our team or our team in general. I'd like to shout out Phil. Phil, member of the Gardeners team for 3 years now, almost 3 years. I think this year will be 3 years.
Time apparently flies.
Yeah.
As evidenced by me thinking 1980s only like 20, 25 years ago.
Right. So Phil started out on the delivery truck a few years back and did his time on the truck. And now he's a valued member of the showroom team, the sales team, and doing a fantastic job. But Phil worked with Denise. Denise gave us a nice Google review the other day and said our salesman Phil was so knowledgeable and explained things so we understood. He did not make us feel rushed. We never, not an in and out sort of thing here at Gardeners. We want to make sure you understand your purchase and understand why you're making the purchase. And we make the right purchase.
That's right. We don't one night stand our customers.
Perfectly put. Denise said we started just wanting to look. Often, I'm just looking, right? I'm just looking. But he addressed all our concerns and we left more than happy with our mattress selection. Thanks, Phil. So, Phil didn't rush. He didn't expect a sale. He didn't push for a sale. We never push, despite what our
Google says about us.
A lot of our reviews say no pressure or something like that. And Google says pressure is one of our review keywords, right?
Right.
But it's the opposite of pressure. But just wanted to give a shout out to Phil and shout out to our customer, Denise. Thanks for the review. And thanks for the kind words about the service received at Gardeners.
And about our pressure on Google, algorithmically, the world wants negativity as evidenced by that.
That's
right? It's like, do you really mean to tell me that Google and all of its supposed higher thought and abilities, I mean, they're one of the leading forefronts of AI technology. The phrase no pressure those two words have never been put together in a positive way.
Right.
So take that as a little tip. Fight back on these algorithms. Push back. Do good. Put good out there in the world. And life gets better.
And if anybody wanted to learn more about Clare House, go to clarehouselancaster.org. There's their website there. There's information on there about volunteer opportunities, upcoming events, of course, a lot of the things that Mandy talked about, who they are and who they represent, and how they help is on there as well. And I'm guessing, if you had items to donate or other services you feel you could offer, that website would be a place to either find it or reach out for more information. So clarehouselancaster.org.
And since Jim, we're on the go here, kind of flying a little blind, can we go to the events tab that we have on their website? It should be a simple little click over there since you have the home screen up. Typically our guests have some event coming up, and certainly we do.
Well, that's this past year's date, I think.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, but they probably have another one coming up.
It's probably annual golf tournament. So at any rate, you go to Clare House's site, and Mandy, if you need to jump off, that's fine. I'm sorry we had these little tech ramblings, but
it happens.
It happens. It's the world. See, this is what I get for speaking bad about.
You started talking about the Cowboys.
For pushing back on the algorithmic powers that these tech companies have. They're like, yeah, enough of you, Jeff. Bam. See, this is why you got to do good out there in the world. You ain't going to shut us down, Google. Not happening. At any rate, if you go to clarehouselancaster.org, connect with them there. And again, I've said it before, say it again. Time, talent, and treasure in this world. If you've got time to donate to Clare House, please do it. If you've got talents, things that you heard about their programs, that you can bring those talents to them, or other charities that might need more help. And then treasure being a donation. If you can do that, that would be fantastic. clarehouselancaster.org.
We gave our pinch hitter a real curveball on that one.
We did. We bobbed and weaved and rolled with the punches there.
That's right.
So yeah, our show notes are a little all out of sorts. My sleep better tip would be what I did today. Get that heavy stuff off your chest.
Mm-hmm.
Real simple.
Yeah.
Get it off your chest. Don't keep replaying that horror movie in your mind, because I guarantee you're the only one in the seat at the theater. So share that stuff out, and it will definitely help you sleep better.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Heavy heart, heavy mind, real rough on the sleep. We can give you the best mattress, but if you're taking that stuff to bed every night, it's really rough. Yeah. So
can't say it any better than that.
Yeah. So I think that's our show. We didn't talk about where you get to watch this show. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. Yeah. It's
Lancaster Connects.
Right. We're kind of a big deal now. Like, thanks to the technology people. Please don't. We still like you. Please keep our show going. No, just
don't
kidding.
grovel.
I know. I didn't look good. Anyway,
you can also watch on LancasterConnects.com, where or the YouTube link is active on there, and it's
pretty much any place that plays video that's connected to the internet. If you type in Lancaster Connects, you can get us. Pretty simple stuff.
We had a few comments, so we can spin the prize later.
I
noticed all the names on the list. There are new names for commenters.
It's fantastic.
So great to see some new listeners there.
Love when our guests bring us new listeners.
That's right. So somebody will win a nice prize.
Yep.
I guess we should spin that.
Whenever we can bring up the prize later, here we go. It's a 3-person race.
I like how Andrew said he was born in 1987. Like he was really giving it to us there.
Giving us the business there. Congrats, Nathan.
Yep.
So, Nathan, you can come to the store anytime and collect your Less Snore, More Cuddle tumbler, drinkware, piece of that, or the bundle that is the travel pillow and blanket. If you're from out of the area, because Mandy said some of her friends and family from afar were watching, you could elect to have Mandy come in and pick that up for you and then get that to you whenever you might see one another. But that's been the show. We made it through. Mandy, thank you so much for joining us and representing Clare House again. That's clarehouselancaster.org, doing a lot of really great stuff for women and children that are recently made homeless, helping them get out of that homeless and then setting a really great foundation for their future success. You heard a lot about the programming and what they do to really make that happen. So doing great work there. Thank you for representing them very well. Again, ClareHouseLancaster.org.
That's a wrap.
Thank you. We'll see you next week on Lancaster Connects. Take care.